Hey everyone, have you ever thought about just thinking up an image
Oh, yeah.
and it's right there in front of you?
Like just appears.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's what we're diving into today. It's AI powered text to image tools and you can actually build one yourself.
Yeah. It's really amazing how accessible this is becoming. Like, you don't need a whole server farm or anything. Like, you could just make this on your computer.
Yeah, so we're using this article. It's by Mohammed Akram. It's on Medium and it's pretty recent and it's all about building a text to image tool using this platform called DeepSeek.
In like 8 steps.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Super simple. Now, when we say building your own AI, I know that can sound kind of intimidating to some people, but this is really straightforward.
Yeah. If you can follow instructions, you can build this. It's like IKEA furniture for AI.
Perfect. So what is DeepSeek?
DeepSeek is sort of like the architect of our AI tool. You give it a text prompt. So let's say a fluffy panda wearing a tiny crown, and DeepSeek will spit out the code that you need. It's like it's doing the coding for you.
It's like AI writing code for another AI.
Exactly.
Why? What do we do with the code once we have it?
The article says to save it as a .html file. And this is really important because it lets you open your tool directly in a web browser.
Oh, so you don't have to install anything special?
Nope, just click and create.
That makes sense. So .html is important, but we need more than just code, right? We need the AI brains to actually turn those words into pictures.
Exactly, that's where Hugging Face comes in. So picture a giant library. But instead of books, it's packed with all these AI models, and we need the one that specializes in text-to-image generation.
Okay, so Hugging Face has the AI model. How do we connect our tool to it?
We need something called an API token. Think of it like a backstage pass to the AI model.
So we need a Hugging Face account to get that backstage pass.
Yep. The article actually walks you through setting it up, and it's really straightforward. You can even make a cool AI-generated avatar for your profile.
Oh, an AI avatar. I'm already thinking about mine, but before we get totally sidetracked, why do we need that API token? What does it do?
It's what allows your tool to actually use the AI model. Like, without it, you're just standing outside the concert. You can't get in.
Makes sense. So how do we get that API token?
Okay, so once you're logged into Hugging Face, you go to your account settings, and you look for access tokens, and you just click Create New Token, and then you give it a name, like text to image, just so you remember what it's for. And you'll need to select the permissions that it needs. But usually the site explains that pretty clearly, and then you just hit Create, and boom, you have your token. Make sure you copy it somewhere safe.
Okay, we're getting close. We've got our DeepSeek code. We've got our shiny new API token from Hugging Face. What's the final piece here? How do we bring it all together?
So remember that .html file we saved earlier? You open it back up, and there's going to be a spot in the code that's clearly marked for your API token. Just paste it in there, save the file, and that's it.
So if I open that .html file in my browser right now,
You should have your very own text-to-image tool
alive.
ready to go.
Okay, that's seriously cool. But hold on, I have a confession. I'm already feeling a little overwhelmed. We went from zero to AI tool in what, 5 minutes?
Okay. It's a lot to take in.
But that's the beauty of this deep dive,
Yeah.
right? We're breaking it down step by step. And trust me, once you start playing with your tool, it's all going to click into place.
Yeah, it'll all make sense once you see it in action.
Okay, I'm definitely itching to start experimenting. But first, I think we need to back up a little bit and talk about why this is such a big deal. Why should people even care about being able to create images from text?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely fun to play around with.
But is it just a toy?
But it's definitely much more than just a toy. It's about democratizing creativity. Like, imagine anyone, even if they can't draw, being able to bring their ideas to life visually. That's a game changer.
Yeah, it could revolutionize fields like education, marketing, entertainment.
So many possibilities.
It's wild when you put it that way. It really does sound like we're on the verge of something huge.
Oh, abs.
Okay, I'm officially hooked. What else can this do? What are some of the coolest applications you've seen?
One area I think is really fascinating is using AI-generated imagery in storytelling.
Oh, yeah.
Like, think about creating custom illustrations for children's books,
Cool.
or generating visuals for a presentation, or even designing really unique album art for your band.
And it's not just static images, right? I've seen some incredible AI-generated animations and videos. It's like the entire world of visual media is suddenly within reach.
I know. It's happening so fast.
So we've built our tool. We've talked about some potential applications. What's next? Where do we go from here?
Well, now that you have this powerful tool at your fingertips, it's time to just unleash your inner artist and explore.
I love that.
Don't be afraid to experiment, try different prompts, and really push the boundaries of what's possible.
So for our listeners who are feeling inspired and are ready to dive in, what advice would you give them? Where should they start?
First and foremost, have fun with it. This is about exploring your creativity, not getting bogged down in all the technical details.
Right.
Start simple, see what the AI comes up with, and then gradually experiment with more complex descriptions.
And remember, there's no right or wrong here. It's all about seeing what works for you and enjoying the process.
And if you create something you're really proud of, don't be afraid to share it with the world.
Oh, yeah.
There's such a vibrant online community of AI artists who are always sharing their work and collaborating and inspiring each other. It's really great.
I love that community. So before we move on, let's just recap the key takeaways from this first part of our deep dive. We've learned about DeepSeek, which gives us the code for our tool. We discovered Hugging Face, the platform that's hosting the AI model. And we navigated the world of API tokens,
Our backstage pass
which
there.
give our tool access to that model. And we even built our own text-to-image tool along the way.
Yeah, we're rock stars.
I.
I'm so proud of us.
Me too. And we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore in the world of AI-powered creativity. And we can't wait to dive deeper in the next part of our deep dive. Stay tuned, folks. We're just getting started.
Welcome back. So before we dove into the nitty-gritty of how to build our AI-powered text-to-image tool, we were talking about how this is like putting visual creation power in anyone's hands.
Right, like suddenly everyone can be a digital artist, even if you know they've never even held a paintbrush in their life.
Exactly. I'm kind of curious, though, what are some ways that people are actually using these tools? Like, are we talking about more than just creating cool pictures to share online? Oh, for sure. This goes way beyond just making pretty pictures. People are using this for everything from designing logos and marketing materials to creating storyboards for films and even visualizing data in new and engaging ways.
Whoa, I hadn't even thought about data visualization. That's really cool. So it's like AI is giving us a whole new language to communicate complex information.
Exactly. And it can make that information so much more accessible and engaging for a wider audience. Imagine a scientist being able to create visuals to explain their research, or a teacher using AI to bring historical events to life for their students.
That's awesome. Okay, so we've got marketing, education, storytelling. What other fields are being impacted by this tech?
Well, the world of design is undergoing a massive transformation. Think about architects using AI to generate different building concepts, or fashion designers creating virtual prototypes, or even product developers visualizing new inventions.
So it's like having an AI brainstorming partner,
Yeah,
helping you explore all these different possibilities and come up with ideas you never would have thought of on your own.
yeah. It's like having a creative collaborator who can instantly translate your thoughts into a visual form. And it just pushes you to think outside the box.
It's making me think about how this could impact personal creativity too. Like, what if somebody's always wanted to write and illustrate their own children's book, but they've never felt confident in their artistic ability? Could they use this?
Absolutely. These tools can empower people to express themselves in ways they never thought possible, and it opens up all these new avenues for personal growth and creative exploration.
So cool. It's like AI is acting as a bridge between our imagination and the physical world,
Yeah.
giving us a way to make our inner visions tangible.
And that's a really powerful concept. It's like we're breaking down the barriers between what we can imagine and what we can create.
This all sounds incredible, but I'm also wondering, are there any potential downsides to this technology? I mean, it's like, is it all sunshine and rainbows, or are there things we should be cautious about?
Well, I think it's important to approach any new technology with a balanced perspective.
Yeah.
And while the creative potential is undeniable, there are definitely considerations to keep in mind.
Like what?
Well, one thing to consider is the potential impact on traditional artistic skills.
Yeah, because if anyone can generate a professional-looking image with just a few words, does that diminish the value of human creativity and craftsmanship?
That's a great question, and it's one that's being debated in the art world right now. Some people argue that these tools are just another tool in the artist's toolbox, a way to augment and enhance human creativity. Others worry that it could lead to a devaluation of traditional skills and a homogenization of artistic styles.
So it's really about how we choose to use these tools, right?
Exactly. Are we using them to replace human artists or to collaborate with them?
To push the boundaries.
Exactly.
Okay, so besides the potential impact on the art world, are there any other challenges or concerns we should be aware of?
One thing to consider is the issue of intellectual property.
Oh, yeah.
Since these AI models are trained on massive data sets of existing images, there are questions about copyright and ownership.
So, who owns the rights to an image created by an AI? Is it the person who wrote the prompt, the company that developed the AI model, or is it something else entirely?
That's a really complex legal question that's still being worked out. As this technology becomes more widespread, we'll need to establish clear guidelines and regulations to make sure that intellectual property rights are respected and protected.
It sounds like there's still a lot to figure out in terms of the legal and ethical implications of this technology.
Absolutely, but that's part of what makes this such an exciting time. We're at the forefront of a new era of creativity, And we have the opportunity to shape how this technology is developed and used.
It's exciting and a little daunting at the same time.
Yeah, I agree. But I think that's the nature of innovation. We're venturing into uncharted territory, and it's up to us to navigate these challenges thoughtfully and responsibly.
Totally. So, as we're wrapping up this part of our deep dive, what are some key takeaways you want our listeners to remember about the impact of AI powered text to image tools?
I'd say the main takeaway is that this technology is transformative. It's democratizing creativity, revolutionizing industries, and pushing the boundaries of human imagination. But it's also important to approach it with a critical eye, considering both its potential benefits and its potential challenges.
So, it's not about blindly embracing or rejecting this technology, but about understanding its complexities and using it in a way that benefits both individuals and society as a whole.
Exactly. We need to have those open and honest conversations about the implications of this technology and ensure that it's used ethically and responsibly. And we need to continue to learn and adapt as this field rapidly evolves.
Well said. So, as we move on to the final part of our deep dive, I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on what the future holds for AI-powered creativity. Where do you see this technology going in the next few years?
That's a great question, and one that I think about all the time. I think we're just scratching the surface of what's possible. As these models become more sophisticated and accessible, we're going to see an explosion of new applications and creative possibilities that we can't even imagine right now.
I'm ready for it.
Me too.
So let's dive into that future together in the last part of our deep dive. We've talked about the big picture impact, how
Yeah.
it's changing industries and, pushing creative boundaries and all of that.
Yeah.
But I want to zoom in a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, where are we going?
Let's bring it back to the individual. How can these tools empower us personally in our everyday lives? It's easy to get lost in the grand scale of things. But I think the real magic happens when this tech intersects with our own personal journeys.
Totally. It's about unlocking that potential within each of us, helping us tap into creativity we didn't even know we had.
Exactly. And it's not about being a professional artist or designer or anything. It's about self-expression. It's about exploring our own visual language.
Yeah, it's almost like these tools give us a new way to think. Like they bridge that gap between a thought or an image that we have in our mind
Right.
and actually bringing it into the world.
I'm imagining somebody who's always wanting to write a children's book.
Yeah,
They have these great stories in their head, but they can't draw.
right.
But with these tools, they can suddenly bring those stories to life visually, even if they've never held a paintbrush.
Exactly. And it's not just about the final product, it's about the process of creation. Experimenting with different prompts, playing with color palettes, seeing your ideas take shape on the screen, that can spark new ways of thinking, new connections in your brain.
It's like we're training our imaginations, expanding our creative vocabulary. And I bet that has ripple effects in other areas of our lives too.
Totally. Creativity is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. So even if you're not using these tools for professional purposes, just playing around with them can make you a more creative thinker, a better problem solver.
Right. And let's not forget the sheer joy of creation.
Yeah.
There's something so satisfying about bringing an idea to life and seeing it take form visually. And I bet it can be a huge confidence booster too.
Oh, for sure. And that confidence can spill over into other areas of your life. It's about empowering yourself, realizing you're capable of more than you think.
Yeah. And I'm also thinking about the potential for these tools to help us communicate better. We live in a world that's so visually driven, and sometimes words just aren't enough. Being able to create visuals to accompany our ideas or stories or emotions, there could be really powerful.
It's like adding another dimension to our communication. Imagine a student using AI to create visuals for a history presentation, making the subject come alive for their classmates. Or someone starting a business using AI to design a logo that captures the essence of their brand.
The possibilities really are endless. So what would you say to somebody who's listening to this and thinking, okay, this sounds amazing, but where do I even start?
I would say just jump in. Don't overthink it. There are tons of free tools and resources available online. Just start playing around, see what sparks your interest, and let your curiosity guide you.
And don't be afraid to experiment. There are no rules. Try different prompts, different styles, different approaches. The beauty of this tech is that it's all about exploration and discovery.
And, there's a whole community of people out there doing the same thing. Connect with other creators online, share your work, get feedback, learn from each other. It's a really supportive and inspiring community to be a part of.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive. We started with this simple article about building a text-to-image tool, and we've ended up exploring the future of creativity, the power of self-expression, and the potential for AI to empower us on a personal level.
It's really amazing how quickly things can evolve when you're willing to just dive deep and explore the possibilities.
And this is just the beginning.
I know.
So to wrap things up, I want to leave our listeners with a challenge. Don't just let this information sit in your brain. Take action. Go out and explore the world of AI-powered creativity. Play with these tools, see what you can create, and share your discoveries with the world.
Maybe you'll start a revolution.
You never know. And that's a wrap on our deep dive into AI-powered text-to-image views. We hope you enjoyed the journey as much as we have. Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and keep asking those big questions. At JTA3.